Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to go way beyond just the yoga mat. We're setting out to explore the true, traditional art and science of yoga meditation, which is really a journey into the mind itself.
So let's just ask it straight up. Is yoga just a workout? I mean, for a lot of us, that's what it seems like, right? But what if that's only a tiny, tiny piece of the puzzle? What if all those physical poses were just the first step on a much deeper, more profound journey?
And boom, right here, this is the core of it. On one side, you have the modern view, yoga as a physical fitness program. Totally valid. But on the other side, you have the traditional goal, the art and science of mastering the mind. It's a completely different focus.
And this isn't some new idea. If we go way back to one of the most foundational texts, the Yoga Sutras, they define it with this incredibly powerful phrase. Yoga is the mastery of the activities of the mind field. See that? It's not about the body, it's all about the mind.
Okay, so if the real goal is to master the mind, how in the world do we get there? Well, like any great expedition, we're going to need a map for navigating our own inner world.
And you know what's so cool? The whole thing can be boiled down to this one simple line. It's a progression. We start with the outside world, and then we systematically pull our awareness inward, through our senses, into our body, focusing on the breath, then deeper into the mind, until we arrive at silence.
So how does this actually work? Well, you can think of it in three basic stages. First, our awareness is naturally pointed outward, into the world around us. That's just our default setting. Then the practice begins. We train each of those aspects we just talked about, the body, the breath, the mind. And then finally, once everything is trained and stable, our awareness can naturally recede inward, back towards its source.
Now, this whole system isn't just one single thing. It's actually a blend of three really powerful complementary streams of thought. You've got the systematic meditation from the Yoga Sutras, you've got the deep contemplative insight of Advaita Vedanta, which asks, what is the nature of reality? And you have the intense, heartfelt devotion of Samaya Shri Vidya Tantra. They're not separate paths. Think of them more like different tools for the exact same journey.
All right, so we've got the map. We understand the big picture. Now it's time to actually start the journey. So, what are those first steps? Where do we begin?
What's great about this is that it doesn't start with some lofty, abstract idea. Nope. It starts with the two things you're most familiar with, the most tangible things you have, your body and your breath. This is the bedrock, the foundation for everything else.
And don't get me wrong, training the body and breath is absolutely crucial. It brings amazing health benefits, it creates balance, and most importantly, it stabilizes the mind so you can do the deeper work. But, and this is a big but, it's the foundation, not the final goal. And honestly, this is a really common place where people stop, thinking they've reached the finish line when they've really just started the race.
And that's because once that foundation is solid, the whole journey pivots. We shift our focus from the outer world of physical feelings and postures, and we turn inward to explore the vast inner world of consciousness.
And this, right here, is where the real journey of traditional yoga meditation kicks in. Getting good at the external stuff? That's just getting your gear ready for the expedition. The real adventure? That all happens inside the mind.
So when you look inside, it might seem like just a big, chaotic storm of thoughts, right? But it's not. There's actually a structure to it, layers we can explore. We start at the surface, with the conscious mind, just being mindful of what's happening. Then we go a level deeper, to the active unconscious, where we can start to see the patterns behind our thoughts. And finally, we get to the latent unconscious, the deep, formless silence where thoughts haven't even been born yet. But here's the thing. Each layer has its own little, well, its own trap, you could say. At the conscious level, the big trap is thinking that just having a calm mind is the ultimate goal. When you go deeper into the active unconscious, it's so easy to get distracted by all the cool inner visions and sounds. And then, in the deepest layer, the latent unconscious, you might feel this profound bliss. And the final challenge is to move even beyond that.
So you've done all the work, you've navigated the layers, you've trained yourself, and then you hit a wall. A point where all your techniques, all your effort, just can't take you any further. And at this final wall, there's only one thing left to do. It's not a doing at all. It's a letting go. It's surrender.
So, what's on the other side of that wall? After you let go, where do you end up? What is the final destination of this entire inner journey?
That destination has a name, Bindu.
It's described as this final convergence, this incredible moment where every experience, every thought, every feeling, every memory collapses back into the single silent point that it all came from in the first place. The ancient texts call it piercing the pearl of wisdom.
And what happens when you pierce that pearl? Well, that's the whole point of the journey, self-realization. And this isn't about becoming someone new or achieving some superpower. It's simply the direct experience of the center of your own consciousness. It's waking up to a union that was always there, realizing that you were never separate from it to begin with.
Okay, but what does that even mean for your everyday life? How does it change things? Well, there's this beautiful metaphor. The realized yogi is like a lotus flower. Its roots are deep in the mud of the world, but the flower itself rests on the surface of the water, pure and untouched. You are fully in the world, but you're no longer of the world. You're not tangled up in it. And here's a really practical piece of wisdom to take with you on this path from Swami Jnaneshwara. It completely reframes how we think about success. He says, to judge each day not by the harvest you reap, not by what you get done, but by the stillness of your mind and meditation. It's all about your inner state.
And that really brings us full circle, after this whole journey from the outside world all the way to the center of consciousness. I'll leave you with this to think about. What does the stillness of your mind really mean to you?